Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded because I've actually just started a very intense door-to-door sales job, which is taking up pretty much all of my time. So I don't have much spare time at all, but it's been a while since I've uploaded and some of my videos have been doing really well. So I wanted to just sort of jump on and just sort of talk about some stuff I've been thinking about lately. Because I want to keep up the content, you know, I really love making these videos. And I just want to talk about sort of one mission that I've got at the moment, which is just about sort of silencing the voices in your heads. And I think it's funny because I think everyone has different things they struggle with on self-improvement. Like for me, you know, I'm a very big fan of Hamza's videos. And Hamza, obviously, has sort of a big history of eating lots of junk foods. You know, he really struggled with that. And, you know, he sort of got onto this culture of just eat big to get big, you know, and he sort of had a really bad relationship with foods, you know, and like a lot of his content, so he does a lot of content, especially, so he certainly used to anyway, like stuff about how to get onto a good diet and stuff like that. Meanwhile, for me, I've always just, I mean, I'm very thankful for it. I guess it was the way my parents, you know, brought me up. They always really promoted like healthy eating. So I haven't had this struggle of like having to learn how to eat healthily, you know, in the way that maybe he has, and the way that I think a lot of people do, because I was fortunate enough to just be brought up in a household where I was like, you know, healthy eating was like a really big thing, you know. But I think this is the point, you know, different people have different struggles, different things to focus on, you know. And one thing that I think is really big for me, and I think it's a big problem for a lot of people, is just being in your head too much. And just getting lost in your thoughts and just losing perspective. And I've really had this at the moment with my job. What's the great thing about just plunging into a job that's really challenging is you just really find out what you're made of, and like you really find out what your shortcomings are. And I found that one of my shortcomings is because basically I'm basically a sort of door-to-door salesperson. Like I'm a fundraiser. I'll just go around trying to promote charities, like trying to get people to sign up to £10 a month donation for charities, and usually, if you're really good at your job, you'll get about 2 or 3 people to sign up for your charity, and that's about £100, you know, per day. But obviously, when you're starting off doing this, it's really difficult. You know, it takes a bit of time to get your sort of techniques down. You know, your ability to persuade people down. And one thing that one really struggles with is just attitude. You know, having a good attitude. And you're sort of walking around from about 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock, just knocking on people's doors. And, you know, I get myself in this mentality where if I haven't signed someone up by sort of 6 o'clock, you know, or before the first break we have, I start to really worry. I start to really get in my head. And I sort of, that really carries into my pitch. You know, I'm knocking on someone's door and I'm just a little bit more desperate than I should be. You know, I haven't got a sign up yet. You know, I haven't, you know, no one signed up to donate money to this charity yet. I'm not, you know, and it's commission only. So like, if you don't sign anyone up, you don't get paid basically. So it's very easy to get into your head about this. But the trouble is, it does no good. It does no good to get into your head about it. Because it just translates into your sort of desperation on the door. You know, people are like, oh, who's this guy who's just really desperate to sell me stuff? You know, I'm not interested. You know, slam. You want to be really chilled out when you're selling. And so I'm really sort of trying to find ways to sort of just get out of my head. And one thing that my manager, my boss, recommended to me to do, literally this Saturday, we're out on Saturday, and I hadn't got any doors down and my mentality was starting to falter, and he could see this in me. And he just said to me, just stop taking down the doors, because you said take down the doors while you do it. He said, just stop writing down what doors we're doing. I'll do that. You just sit down, you just follow me and write down every positive that you can think of. And, you know, I just wrote down all the positives, and, you know, I was a bit sort of skeptical, because I'm not sort of, I've never really broken through with sort of gratitude and positive thinking. I think it helps, but I've always been a little skeptical about it, unfortunately. And so I kind of did it, and you know, he was like, "Oh, do you feel better now?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess so," you know. And then I went on and got a sign up at the end of the day. But like that did leave an impression on me that like positive thinking is such a good way out of your head, and I sort of reframed that since. When today I was walking around, I wasn't getting any sign-ups, and I just thought to myself, I sort of reframed the positive thinking. I thought, how would this be? How could this situation be even worse than it already is? You know, I'm walking around, I'm not signing anyone up. That's a pretty bad situation. But what if it was even worse? What would that look like? You know, and then you just think of like how it would have been more negative. Or, you know, maybe if I hadn't done any sign-ups last week, that would have been even worse, you know. If I had no money to support myself, you know, if my expenses were higher, you know, that it would be even more of a problem. You know, I just started thinking of all these scenarios in which it would be even worse. And I found that a much easier way of being positive, because then afterwards it'd be like, oh, but it's not like that, you know, so it's fine. So that's one way that sort of helped me out of my head. Another thing I think is just connecting to your body a bit more. And by that I don't just mean like sort of exercise and you know, the gym, like weightlifting and stuff like that. I mean more like kind of deep breathing stuff has been a really great way to bring me back into my body. Learning to breathe into your stomach, that's really important. It takes a lot of practice. It's not just a short win, but I mean, I just did a sort of Wim Hof breathing exercise, and it's just, you don't realise how in your head you are until you kind of get out of your head. You know, it's amazing. So yeah, those are kind of the two things that I've done recently to kind of address my sort of negative sort of mentality towards, you know, like getting in my head too much, worrying about things too much when it's not useful. And yeah, I hope you guys find it helpful. I mean, I'm still very early on with both these things, like positive thinking and like deep breathing. I do think there's lots I want to learn. Like I'm really, I think there's a lot of potential to improve my life doing this stuff. So I'll probably do more sort of videos on them in the future when I'm a bit more advanced in it. But for now, that's my sort of take on it. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.